Bonjour.
Hello everyone, Pantoufleee here today for a new video in which we are going to try to find out what is this tank that you're seeing on the screen right now that Wargaming teased in their new teaser that they did on their official channel 2 hours ago and that I already reviewed. By the way, if you didn't see the video, go check it out. It's just the previous one I did. And I received a lot of DMs of people asking me, wow, Pantoufleee, see that new tank with spaced armor everywhere, it's a Russian, it seems to be broken, what it is, etc, etc. So the point of this video is to answer to everybody trying to find out what is this tank. First thing first, the name of this tank is T2020. That's all we know. We don't know yet the statistics, and I'll probably do a full preview of the tank when the statistics are available, but for the moment all we know is that its name is T2020. And I thought, okay, you know what, we need, in order to find out the characteristics of this tank, we need to find out what is the closest tank already implemented into a Wargaming game for us to compare it with. And this tank is the hard case that you're gonna see on the screen right now. This tank is basically a T10, a Russian tier 9 heavy, but with some spaced armor all over the place. And there are two things that are going to be different on the T2020. First, the tier. The tank you're currently watching is a tier 9, the T2020 is a tier 8. And the second difference is that with the hard case, you have literally concrete plates on both your turret and your hull as spaced armor, whereas on the other one, the T2020, you only have steel plates. Therefore, this tank has better spaced armor than the T2020, the upcoming tank that we will have in Blitz. Also, if we compare both of the tanks, the T2020 and the T10 from World of Tank PC, you can see that they have similar hulls. Even if I still think the hull armor of the T10 is better, of course, because it's a tier 9 and you can't really compare it with a tier 8 Russian, both of them have the spiked nose and therefore should have a pretty similar playstyle to the already implemented IS-3, IS-8 and IS-7. And of course, for the moment, we don't have access to the statistics because the tank is not available, and don't worry, as soon as it's available, I'll do a review about it. But we can expect one thing or two about the tank as it's a Russian. It has a 122mm, and we all know the Russian playstyle. So thanks to my experiments in the game, experience on YouTube, experience on pretty much everything, and all the infos I gathered, I managed to pretty much sum up real quick the tank and what should be your expectations, and that's what we're gonna try to review right now. So first, let's talk about the turret on the T2020, and that's pretty much the strongest part of the tank, that's why I start with it. I'm expecting it to be literally impenetrable from the front, simply because you will have more than 250mm of armor, but you have to combine this with both the fact that you have a huge gun mantlet, but also with the fact that you're carrying spaced armor all around the turret, and it seems to be huge steel plates. Therefore, we're not talking about 5mm of spaced armor, but maybe 20 to maybe 25. Therefore, artificially, it's going to increase way more your turret armor. And also be careful, because it means that if you shoot with heat shells or HE shells on this kind of turret, you're not going to penetrate, you're not going to do damage, and if you go for an HE shell, you will not even have splash damaged. I also think that due to the roundness of Soviet turrets, it's gonna be quite hard for you to penetrate even the sides of the turret. Maybe the only weak spot that the tank will have on the turret will be the rear, like it's the case for every tank, but if it's really that, if they make an impenetrable armor, when you're gonna be all down, you're gonna destroy everything. Also, maybe one thing to add, you have a cupola on the tank, but I'm expecting it to be quite hard to penetrate, as even if the tank seems low profile when we saw it on Wargaming trailer, I'm not expecting a lot of tanks to be able to get it. Maybe you will have to get into a German heavy tank that are quite high for their tier in order for you to penetrate the top of the turret, I mean the roof, and therefore maybe be able to penetrate the turret frontally. Now, let's talk a little bit about the mobility. Nothing really new here. I'm expecting it to have quite the same mobility as the IS-5, maybe a little bit lower, simply because unlike the IS-5, this T2020 is carrying spaced armor. Therefore, it makes the tank heavier and therefore a worse mobility than the currently implemented IS-5. So that's why I'm expecting it to have an average speed globally, same as the IS-5, maybe a little bit lower, and also a bad traverse speed, because we all know that Russian tanks don't have the best traverse speed overall, especially regarding the hull, but there is a good side. All Russian tanks are slow to get to their top speed, but their top speed is quite high. And that's why I'm expecting this T2020 to have a really good top speed, probably around 40 to 45 kilometers per hour, which is already huge considering the armor it's carrying. Now let's talk a little bit about the gun and probably the worst part of the tank itself. I'm gonna tell you why. We all know Russians are carrying 122mm, at least it's simply obvious on the teaser that Wargaming implemented that it's a 122mm. And nearly all 122mm gun are sharing the exact same statistics. Around 12.5 seconds of reload, 400 alpha damage, a poor gun dispersion, and a really bad gun depression. So what I'm expecting for the T2020 is to have these stats that you will be able to still do great things with it, because even if you're playing the i6, the i5, you have the Stalinium with you, and therefore you're gonna have amazing shots all the way down to the victory. But overall, you shouldn't count on the gun or expect the gun to be a deadly gun. You're not gonna be a sniper, etc. So you will probably need to get to the close combat, which seems logic when we take a look at the armor profile. And talking about the armor, maybe we can expect some great things for the hull, and I'm gonna tell you why. The side armor is gonna be extremely broken. Why? Because we all know Russian tanks, or at least these kind of Russian tanks, already have spaced armor implemented on the tank on the sides, and you have to go through it to get to the main part and do damage. But on that tank, it seems like you already have spaced armor plus the regular spaced armor you have on the tank. Therefore, you will have a double spaced armor to deal damage. And if it's the case, good luck trying to penetrate the tank in side scrape. It's gonna be a nightmare to penetrate, probably one of the few tanks in the game that is nearly impenetrable on the sides. And I'm not even talking about penetrating when it's angled. I'm talking about 90 degrees. If at 90 degrees you have to pass 2 spaced armor plus the regular armor in order to do damage, let's say it, good luck. Now, that's for the sides. The rear shouldn't be a problem to penetrate, as we all know. I mean, it's the rear of the tank that is supposed to be a weak spot, so I'm expecting Wargaming to put it as a weak spot. And now for maybe the main part, the frontal armor, I'm gonna tell you something. I'm expecting 210mm minimum to be able to penetrate at the top part, and maybe 230mm to penetrate nearby the turret. But overall, if you have more than 190mm of penetration, I'm pretty sure it should be easy for you to penetrate the lower part of the frontal hull. Overall, for my impressions, I think it's gonna have a broken armor, an average gun, and good top speed and a bad traverse speed. But let me talk a little bit about what I mean by broken armor. I mean broken side armor. I'm not talking about the front. Therefore, I think that with this tank, if you don't really know how to play it, it's gonna be the same as old Pike nose tank or the i7 and all these stuffs. If you don't know how to play it, I'm not expecting it to be completely broken in the hands of everybody. I'm expecting it to be completely broken, yeah, let's say it, when you're a pro player, because we all know how to play that. If you manage to put it in all down, you're gonna be nearly impenetrable. But your main weakness should be the mediums, as I told you, you have a bad traverse speed. But if you're only afraid of mediums and not of heavies or tank destroyers or anything like that, yeah, here that's going to be a problem, and the tank is not going to be balanced. We'll have to wait for it to be implemented to know. Now, one information completely unrelated to the tank itself, and that you should know. In the teaser Wargaming did, they are showing a P43 bis, or at least it looks like a P43 bis, with a Swedish camouflage, some kind of a legendary camo. And they show that with their 6th anniversary spoil. This tank that you see is a P42. It's gonna be a tier 6 premium that Wargaming should either put in an event or give you straight as a gift for the 6th anniversary of World of Tanks Blitz. So soon enough, you should all be available to get a new tier 6 tank for free. I'm not expecting it to be broken. It should be average. Usually when Wargaming gifts tank like this for their anniversary, the tank is quite average, but it's always better than having a shitty tank. So yeah, overall now this video, sorry, is now over. Feel free to subscribe, like and share, and I'm gonna see you soon, probably tomorrow, for a stream in which we're gonna discuss about all these upcoming features that are quite exciting. Thank you all for watching. See you soon.